Hello, my beautiful radiant souls, and a special warm welcome to all of you magnificent Leos. I want you to draw a deep breath and feel the steady, powerful rhythm of your own heart. That, my friends, is the sound of courage. It is the beat of a lion heart. And today we are going to talk about the incredible, world-altering power that resides within that very rhythm. Now imagine this with me for a moment. Picture a room utterly devoid of warmth, color, or life. The walls are a stark, sterile white, and a single fluorescent light on the ceiling sputters and flickers, a pathetic mockery of the sun. In this cold, silent space, machines offer a weak, inconsistent pulse, a desperate echo of a life that has lost its fire. And from within that chilling stillness, a voice, thin and fragile, whispers your name. Have you ever stopped to consider the sheer, undeniable power that your name holds, the way it carries the frequency of your light, your warmth, your very essence, capable of echoing in the darkest corners, where you have never even set foot? I used to believe that such connections were mere coincidence, threads of memory clinging to a desperate mind. But I now understand a much deeper, more profound, cosmic truth. What we are, the very light we emanate, leaves an indelible mark on every soul we encounter. For those who chose to honor that light, it becomes a source of inspiration. But for those who tried to extinguish it, oh my dear Leo, for them the memory of your light becomes a haunting reminder of the warmth they foolishly forfeited. This is why you need not ever entertain a single thought of revenge, for the universe, in its infinite and perfect wisdom, has its own flawless system of justice. A justice that isn't about punishment, but about reflection. Those who caused you pain are simply being forced to look into a mirror, and what they see is the glaring emptiness, the cold, and the darkness they created for themselves when they walked away from your sun. And if this message has found you today, know in your heart that it is a powerful synchronicity. It is a sign that your soul is ready to fully comprehend and embrace your own magnificent power. So if you feel this truth roaring within you, I want you to do two things right now to anchor this energy. First, go to the comments and declare with all the conviction of your lion heart, what's the one secret you've never told anyone? Drop it below if you dare. And second, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom and become a part of our beautiful pride of radiant souls so we can continue to walk this empowering journey together. Now, let us return to that room, that cold, desolate space where your name is being spoken. I want you to look closer through the eyes of the universe itself. The mirror on the wall doesn't just hang there, it suddenly spiders with a crack, a physical manifestation of a carefully constructed reality that is shattering. The clock on the wall, which had been ticking away the seconds of a life filled with ego and deceit, grinds to a halt. In that moment, time itself holds its breath, refusing to move forward for a soul so heavy with the karma of its own choices. And in that suspended reality, the face becomes clear. Yes, it is them. The one who saw your brilliant light and out of their own insecurity tried to dim it. The one who basked in your generosity and then betrayed your trust. The one who mistook your kindness for weakness and your open heart for an invitation to play their foolish games. Look at them now. Where is the arrogant smile? Where is the dismissive laugh? It's gone. All that remains is a fragile shell, a body trembling not just from illness, but from a profound spiritual cold. And in that state of utter powerlessness, they whisper your name. Do you see the beautiful cosmic irony, dear Leo, when they stood tall in their own ego, They scoffed at your authenticity. When they were celebrating their hollow victories, they belittled the very real wounds they inflicted upon you. But now, as the shadows they created close in around them, they desperately call out for the one thing they know could save them: your light. Your name is a plea for the sun, a desperate cry for the warmth they themselves cast aside. I witnessed a similar story unfold in my own life. I had a dear friend, a magnificent Leo, whose creative partner grew envious of her natural charisma and talent. He began to subtly undermine her, to steal her ideas, and to cast shadows on her reputation. For a time, he seemed to succeed, rising in his career, while she was left to heal from the betrayal. He was arrogant, convinced he had won. Years went by, and then the news came. His celebrated career had crumbled, his health had failed, and he was left with nothing. A mutual acquaintance told me that in his darkest moments, he didn't ask for his family or his new partners. He just kept repeating her name over and over like a mantra of regret. He wasn't calling for her. He was calling for the light, the success, and the integrity he had tried to steal, only to discover it could never truly be his. That is the lesson, my beautiful Leo. The universe doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive in the human sense of wiping the slate clean. No, it maintains a perfect, energetic balance. Every seed of betrayal, every seed of deceit will eventually sprout, and the one who planted it will be forced to harvest its bitter fruit. This is why those who have hurt you often attempt to re-enter your orbit. It might be a random message late at night, a sudden friend request, or a question passed through a mutual acquaintance. Do not be mistaken. It is rarely because they have seen the error of their ways or because they are ready to offer a genuine apology. They return because their own world has grown cold and dark, and their soul instinctively remembers the warmth of your fire. They are like energetic vampires seeking a transfusion of the very light they once tried to drain from you. But you, my dear, are no longer an accessible source for them. Your silence, your decision to move forward, your focus on your own brilliant future, that was the verdict. By choosing not to engage, by refusing to stoop to their level, you closed the door. And in doing so, you handed the entire situation over to the universe to resolve. And it is. Every time they speak your name into that cold, empty room, they are not calling for you. They are screaming into the abyss of their own making, forced to confront the immense void left in your absence. You thought walking away was a quiet act of survival, but no, it was a thunderous cosmic judgment. Your healing became their reckoning. Can you feel that subtle vibration in your soul right now? It's not the chill of fear, it's the resonance of truth. It's your spirit recognizing that your pain was never in vain. Every tear you shed watered the seeds of your own resilience. Every wound you endured became a testament to your strength. And that desperate cry you hear in the ethers, it doesn't just rattle their crumbling world. It awakens a powerful ancient force that surrounds you. It awakens your guardians, your spiritual protectors, your royal lineage. Perhaps you have never seen them, but I assure you they have always been there, standing behind you like a pride of majestic lions and lionesses, not to push you toward vengeance, but to remind you that you have never ever been alone. Have you ever been thinking of the past only to have a glass suddenly fall, a light flicker at the precise moment of a memory, or a sudden gust of wind rush through a closed room? Do not dismiss these moments. These are not omens of doom. These are messages from your spiritual court, your ancestors announcing, "We are here, we have never left," and the one who hurt our beloved child will now face the consequences of their own actions. This, my dear Leo, is where the story truly begins to shift, because their desperate cry is not a plea for your forgiveness. It is the sounding of a cosmic alarm. And when that alarm sounds, it signals the rise of the ancient souls who have pledged to protect you. And you are about to witness what happens when your royal lineage rises to defend its own. Look closely at that moment again. That person is not asking for forgiveness. They are begging for a rescue from the consequences of their own actions. Their breath is shallow, their eyes are wild with fear. But here is a profound truth. They are only now discovering their pleas for help are no longer being heard by human ears. They rise into the ether, yes, but they hit an invisible, impenetrable barrier. A shield formed by your guardian spirits, by your ancestors, and by the divine source that has watched over your journey from the very beginning. In our human experience, we often believe that an apology is what we need to heal. We think that a simple, heartfelt, "I'm sorry," will mend the wounds of betrayal. But as you evolve, you begin to witness a higher truth. Not every cry for help is meant to reach you. Some cries are simply the soul's sentence echoing back upon itself. The universe has its own magnificent way of forcing a soul to confront the darkness it created, and the divine will never allow that desperate, toxic energy to touch you again. It is not your responsibility to save them from the fire they started. Your only responsibility is to tend to your own. Do you see the power in this? Your silence became the most powerful roar. Your choice to walk away and build a more beautiful life became the ultimate verdict. You allowed the darkness to extinguish itself without ever lifting a finger. So let your heart be at peace. When someone from your past calls your name in a state of despair, they are not truly calling for you. They are calling for the light they once had access to. They are calling for a salvation they now know they can never have again, because that door has been sealed by a divine hand. I once had the profound experience of being with a spiritual mentor as he described a vision. He saw a man who had deeply betrayed a loved one lying on his deathbed. The man's eyes were filled with a unique terror, not of death itself, but of the realization that he could no longer escape the judgment of his own soul. My mentor said the air in the room grew heavy and cold, and the lights began to flicker erratically. He knew with absolute certainty that he was not the only invisible presence there. The room was filled with the betrayed woman's ancestors, her spiritual guardians, an entire lineage of light, standing watch, ensuring that justice was served. So if you are hearing this message, etch this truth into your lion heart: you are never alone. You carry within your DNA a sacred royal lineage that stands with you. You have a divine source that sees and knows the absolute truth of your heart. And you have the entire universe acting as a cosmic record keeper. This is why you need to do nothing at all but continue to be your magnificent, radiant self. When you hold your light, when you stand in your truth, the darkness simply cannot survive in your presence. It consumes itself. Perhaps you once yearned for an apology, but the truth is, my dear Leo, you have evolved beyond the need for their words. The very moment they tremble and call your name to an empty room with no answer is all the validation you will ever need. Justice has arrived, so breathe it in, let it go. Allow your beautiful heart to understand that the very betrayal that once threatened to shatter you has now become the foundation upon which you rise. And this is only the beginning, because that desperate call doesn't just close an old painful chapter, it awakens the invisible guardians around you. And right now, you are about to witness your ancestral pride rise to protect you as never before. Have you ever sat in a quiet moment and allowed yourself to truly ask, am I alone in this struggle? There are times in our lives, especially after a deep betrayal, when we feel completely and utterly abandoned. But the truth, my magnificent Leo, is that you have never taken a single step on this journey by yourself. The moment that betrayer lay trembling, calling your name from that bed of consequences, something profound and unseen was activated. The energetic atmosphere around you shifted. That is the sign. Your lineage, your ancestors, the souls of the kings and queens who walked before you, were stepping forward from the veil. Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine this. Around you in the ethereal realm, faint glowing figures begin to appear. Majestic women with eyes that hold the wisdom of ages, their presence both fierce and tender. Powerful men carrying auras of golden light, a fire that pierces through any shadow. They speak no words, for their presence alone is a declaration, a roar that makes all darkness retreat. I once thought I was navigating my greatest challenges alone until I had a powerful dream. In it, I stood before a great council of figures I had never met, yet my soul recognized them instantly. They were my lineage, and when I awoke, I understood with every fiber of my being, we have never abandoned you. We are always with you. Have you felt this in your own life? A sudden, inexplicable feeling of peace during a moment of crisis, a mirror cracking at the exact moment you thought of a past pain, symbolizing the shattering of an old curse, a candle flame dancing wildly in a room with no draft. These are not random occurrences, my friend. They are the heralds of your ancestral court. They are messages from your lineage affirming, we are here, we are guarding our own. And here is a truth that many are afraid to believe. You are not just protected, you are divinely favored. The universe has surrounded you with an invisible inheritance, a shield of ancient royal light. Each time darkness has tried to reach for you, the divine has dispatched your lineage to block its path. You thought you were falling alone, but in truth, 1,000 hands of your ancestors were there to catch you. You endured betrayals and heartaches that would have shattered others. You stood back up in moments when you thought you would collapse. Do you see now? It was never only your strength that carried you through. You persevered because of the invisible, unconditional love of 1,000 souls standing behind you. Every step you take, they walk with you. Every tear you shed, they honor as a sacred offering. Every night you felt abandoned, their shield of golden light grew stronger around you, keeping the deepest darkness at bay. So never ever believe that you are fragile or alone. Others may walk away, but your lineage is eternal. When that betrayer trembles and calls your name, it is not a call that can ever reach you. It is the sound of darkness recoiling as it comes face to face with the awesome power of your royal bloodline. And the truth is that darkness was never strong enough to pierce the shield of the thousands of souls who have chosen to protect you. So if you have seen these strange signs, flickering lights, sudden chills, fleeting shadows in your periphery, do not be afraid. These are not omens of doom. They are signals from your lineage roaring in unison. We have risen. We are here. Our beloved lion is safe. At this very moment, you are surrounded, not by enemies, but by unseen guardians of immense power. They do not come to encourage revenge. They come so that you will remember the sacred inheritance you carry within your very being. You are the living embodiment of thousands of souls who have loved, who have ruled, who have endured, and who have overcome. You are living proof that the light of a royal heart never dies. And as you fully recognize this, you will feel a palpable shift. Your energy field will begin to expand. The light within you, your solar plexus chakra, will begin to radiate with a newfound intensity. You are no longer living just for yourself. You are living for all the souls who poured their strength, their courage, and their love into your blood. Take a deep breath right now. Close your eyes and truly feel this. You have never been alone. You are standing in the center of a sacred circle of protection, raised by the divine, fortified by the universe, and made manifest by your royal lineage. And from this very moment forward, that light will carry you into your next most glorious season, the season of your sovereign rebirth. And as your lineage rises around you, my dear Leo, you will begin to notice ancient dreams and dormant talents returning to you. It will feel like you are walking into a great ethereal library, a library of light, and a key is placed in your hand. This is the key to unlock doors you never believed you were worthy enough to walk through. We often think that loss is the end. When a door closes, when someone betrays us, we despair. But I have come to understand a beautiful cosmic principle. Every loss is a clearing. The universe lovingly removes what no longer serves the highest evolution of your soul to make space for a more brilliant light to enter. Remember this, Leo, every tear you ever cried was a seed. Not a single drop of your pain was wasted. They were seeds of strength, and today, under the watchful eyes of your divine guardians, those seeds are bursting open, blooming into a sacred garden of light that surrounds you. Have you noticed how animals and nature respond to you differently now? A bird that lands on your windowsill and simply watches you, a stranger's pet that walks directly to you as if it has known you forever. These are not small things. The natural world can see the crown of light on your head often before you can see it yourself. You no longer need anyone's validation or approval. Your light has become so magnificent that your very presence is a statement. That is the true essence of your rebirth. I once witnessed this in the life of a Leo client. She had been through a devastating business betrayal that left her financially and emotionally broken. But instead of collapsing, she turned inward. She began to create her art again, not for fame or money, but for the sheer joy of it. Years later, I saw her at a gallery opening. Her presence was magnetic. She didn't have to say a word. When her betrayer, who was also there, looked at her, he couldn't even meet her gaze. He physically flinched and turned away. Her light had become a mirror that he could not bear to look into. That, my beautiful Leo, is who you are becoming. You are no longer the one who was wounded. You are the one who holds the key to the kingdom. You have become living proof that survival isn't just about breathing. It's about rising blazing and turning your pain into an invisible, magnificent throne. What was once broken is now being rebuilt in pure golden light. What was once taken from you is now returning 1,000-fold in a purer, stronger, more beautiful form. Do you hear that sound? It's a deep resonance, like a great bell, echoing in your very bones. That is the sound of your soul expanding. That is your light spilling over, and every step you take from this moment on will not be yours alone. It will be the step of your entire lineage, a royal procession announcing your return to power. You are being reborn, not to become someone new, but to become the truest, most radiant version of yourself. the version that is utterly and completely untouched by darkness. You have walked through the valley of shadows. You have felt the sting of betrayal. You have heard the desperate cry from the darkness, and you have felt the sacred circle of protection rise around you. And now you rise. You are no longer the wounded one. You are the embodiment of healing light. Your rebirth means your every step causes the world to take notice. Your eyes no longer seek approval. They hold a truth so clear that liars and deceivers must look away. For the greatest light, my dear Leo, is not born from revenge. It is born from the courage to keep your heart open, to continue to love, and to choose your own radiant light, even when the world tried to convince you to live in the shadows. When you do that, the darkness has no choice but to collapse upon itself. There is a saying, "The crown is invisible, but the world can feel its weight." Today, Leo, the universe has placed that crown of sovereignty firmly upon your head. What once broke you has now crowned you. The very betrayal that brought you to your knees has become the invisible throne upon which you now reign over your own magnificent life. You are not merely a survivor. You have become a living testament to divine justice. You are the song your ancestors sing through your voice. You are the doorway the divine uses to let more light enter this world. And from this moment on, no darkness can deny that truth. Your silence will be heard as a roar. Your presence will be felt as power. You are the light that cannot and will not be denied. And if you are still here listening to these words, then this is no longer just a message. It is a divine appointment. Your soul is ready. You have journeyed with me through the cold, sterile room of consequence, past the face of betrayal, through the circle of your royal ancestors, and into your own radiant rebirth. This was all to prove one singular, magnificent truth. You have always been cherished, you have always been protected, and you have always been loved. I want you to place your hand over your heart right now. Feel that powerful beat. That is not just your life force. That is the courage of 1,000 lions, the prayers of your lineage, and the unconditional love of the divine flowing through your veins. You were never alone, and you will never walk alone again. Let this moment be a sacred ritual of activation. If this truth resonates in the deepest part of your soul, seal this declaration with a like as a signal to the universe that you accept your light and claim your destiny. Share this video as a flame of truth for other souls who need to be reminded of their own inner fire. And subscribe not just as a click, but as a sacred vow to walk in the light with your soul family, your pride right here beside you. You once believed the darkness could swallow you whole, but today you see, with perfect clarity, darkness only ever existed to reveal the magnificent radiance you carry within. You have survived, you have been reborn, and you have become the light. From this moment on, live as you truly are, a living testament of courage, a sun in the long night, a soul the universe itself has chosen to guard, to honor, and to celebrate. And remember, this is not the end. This is the grand beginning. Our next journey together will reveal the sacred signs the universe sends when it is preparing to open the final gate of destiny for you, a gate that will lead to a greatness that will make your beautiful, courageous heart tremble with joy. You are worthy of it all. May your light shine ever brighter, may your path be cleared of all obstacles, and may love find you in every corner of your magnificent journey.